I just wanted to talk to you about 5 things you need to know about fintech. The first one is, what is fintech? The second one is, which problem are they trying to solve? The third one is, out of this talk, which startup are you going to go out and fund? The fourth one is, how banks are reacting to the disruption. And the last one is, what is the place of diversity in it? So, as Anne kindly introduced, I'm Calmejane. I graduated from IT engineering 10 years ago. I'm French-born. I've lived in 4 different countries. I've been appointed in an executive position in my first one last year as Director of Innovation of one of the largest financial services bank in Europe, which is called Lloyds Banking Group. We have 3 different brands in the UK, and I have 2 passions. The first one is, how can we make banking easier, simpler, and more accessible through digital for all customers? And the second one is, how can we get more women in technology and make them very successful? So going back to the 5 points, what is exactly the problem that we are trying to solve? So I went in our challenger bank. In the UK, there is a couple of challenger banks. They are trying to disrupt the way we do banking traditionally, and they are super keen about it. And they put a little video, which I found fantastic, talking about the problems we have today and why is it important to solve them. So let's go to see the video.
Can I have a decaf cappuccino, please?
I have to pop you on hold while I transfer you to the coffee department.
Hi there, how can I help?
She said she's put me through to the coffee department. I don't quite get
Coffee department, sorry, you got through to the lager department. Give me a minute.
Huh?
Would you like to make an application for some food or drink today? I just need the first line of your address and your mother's maiden name.
What?
I'm just going to pop you on hold while I transfer you to the wine department. Is that okay?
Double Havana 7 and Coke, please.
Oh, blimey, that's completely on my reach. I'll put you on hold for that one, okay?
We reserve the right to cancel your fish and chips without prior notification, whereas you do not notify us in writing.
Business is important to us.
Hi there, what can I get you? Thank you very much, that's £5.
Cappuccino's £5.
£6, increased charges. Certainly, that'll be £100 of unnecessary charges.
Oh, how much? For a wine and a what?
Yeah, so it's £6 for the wine, and then the rest is unnecessary charges.
No.
I'm afraid I can't accept your payment at the moment.
Get you in a minute. I'm going to pull you over the bar. We both over there having a conversation.
I can put you onto our conversation department.
Awful.
Yeah, it was awful, yeah.
Eventually I felt a bit angry and I wanted to give up.
Wherever you go, if you pay for a service and it was bad, you wouldn't go back. The service was absolutely terrible and I thought I'd never come back again.
Thank you for your customer today. Would you mind taking a short survey? Your feedback is so important to us.
Thank you.
So this is number 26. They are fantastic. I really invite you to go and visit their website. So we didn't wait that a startup come and point out some of these challenges. The digital bank at Lloyds has been a story that started 7 years ago. We have 30 million customers at Lloyds Banking Group. Currently, 12 million of them are using our online platform. 7 million of them are using mobile banking. And our mobile app has been ranked first by Forrester in Europe. We estimate by 2017, between 50% to 70% of customer needs will be met online, which means that financial services product will be bought through the digital channel by our customer, up to 50 to 70%. So we clearly see the shift, and we are quite conscious of it. Just to give you an idea about what happened in 60 seconds of a digital life at Lloyds Banking Group, there is around, in the next 60 seconds I'm going to talk, there is around 32,000 pages that are going to be visited by our customers. There is around 1,500 people that are going to connect through their mobile app to check their login and do it. Digital is at the heart of their strategy. It's a division for Lloyds Banking Group that report directly to the board, and it's something that is very important. So what is the place of fintech into it, and what is fintech exactly? So there is around 15,000 fintechs that exist out there, and this number grows day and days. As Hazelman mentioned just before, there is around 60 billion, and this number go up and up, that have been invested in this space. And what is happening is all these startups are going across the financial service value chain, and like Instagram have been after the digital camera, they are going after the current financial services chain and finding the little one where they can grasp something. So this started with the payment company, and you probably all use PayPal. Who use PayPal here? Yeah? So almost all of you. So PayPal started at this stage. We have new companies like Square, Venmo, and you may have heard of the Chinese Alipay, which combines social media with analytics with mobile and enable you at the fingertip to pay at any point where you want. Alipay is estimated in capital between 59 to 61 billion, and it's coming in Europe. Then we've seen the lending coming more and more in the disruption. So lending is this notion of marketplace where borrowers and lenders meet together online. As Hazel was talking about it, so some of these companies are lending clubs, or the Chinese called Lufax, which is also a giant. Then we've seen the ledgers coming in the hype of the fintech, so blockchain, Bitcoin, all these different areas. Then we have wealth. So the notion about can I replace the human interaction in my wealth process and get automated online advice, where we see more and more proposition coming. And I was saying, like, which startup should you go out of this token fund? There is two spaces that are definitely emerging that we will see more and more in the next months and next year, which are InsurTech. And I will talk a bit more, but we are backing an accelerator called Startup Bootcamp, which have a dedicated InsurTech program. So we have been able, through the first 10 startups, to really see what are the different business models and the emerging trends, and also everything on AI machine learning. So Hazel was talking about the data. Data is key, and so especially with machine learning, we see some application in financial services where you can get some of the cost out. Data scientist is also a skill that is raising more and more the interest across all the area, but especially in banking. So that's what just to give you a view about what's fintech and where they are focusing. Banks are not standing still. Obviously, we always want to meet our customer needs, and we are not just watching and thinking about it. So at Lloyds Banking Group, we launched a program which is called Transformation. This is a 1 billion investment. It has been launched last year. So our first phase of transformation was to take branch and telephony process and putting them online in the digital channel. We recognized it was not enough, so going back to the videos, this creates friction when you go online or when you go physically into a branch and to in the telephony. So what we did, going back to some of the talk we had this morning on Fjord, is we basically redesigned front to back with a customer-centric, and I put here a mobile because it's mobile first. And some of the example is we don't say, I want to buy a mortgage or I want to give you capital. We say, I want to buy a home, I want to set up a business. What looks like this journey in a seamless way? We've identified 10 journeys in the bank, and we are doing and delivering this program at the moment. They are fully working on agile methodology, so large startup methods at large scale. Of course, there is some challenge. I can talk about more at a coffee about it. Another thing to notice is we also work with the startups. So London is one of the first hubs, as well as the UK, for the ecosystem of startups. So we back the accelerator called Startup Bootcamp. We are at our third year, so the new batch will arrive in August and start for a 3-month period. An accelerator is like kind of a training, a professional training. We pick up 10 startups. We enable our SME to go and dedicate some of their time to upskill the startup at the same time that there is a culture exchange, as our SME can understand what is the world of today that is at much faster pace than sometimes what we can observe in our traditional ways of working. To date, it has been a huge success. We had 19 startups that graduated. The satisfaction is 9 out of 10, and the average valuation of the startup out of our program is 2.8 million. So this is something I'm very proud of, that I set up in the bank, and that currently I'm still at the advisory board. It's something that is now widely supported by the group, and it's not something just by the innovation team. We deploy our mentor program as part of our Help Britain Prosper plan, because there is opportunities for everybody to be part of it. Last but not least, I was talking about diversity, and why diversity is important for us is because 51% of our customers are women. And so for us, it's important that our leadership reflect our customer base. And part of that is the commitment of our CEO to have by 2020, 40% of women in senior position. This is something my team is also committed to, so we sponsor CEO funder in early stage through Everyone 50-50. So we are trying to move the female funder from 10% to 50% in the UK, and we also sponsor late stage through other program, and we are trying to connect that through the piece. So thank you very much, and feel free to reach to me on Twitter. I hope you know a bit more about fintech now.
Want to be in the audience next time? Click here for tickets to Inspirefest 2017.